Imagine an arid hurricane that hovered over the U.S. plains for over a decade, each gust of wind sweeping the Midwest in dust, darkness, and debt, leaving a wake of hunger in many homesteads. Jobs were hard to come by, and Okie scrambled to make do. It's a time remembered for struggle and hardship, and the nation's leading documentarian of pivotal history saw more. His iconic reputation is carried into his newest film, The Dustbowl.
I think when we look at our popular culture, we sort of see Hollywood as this infinite number of different stories, when in fact it has 6 or 7 or 8 plot lines. Documentary, on the other hand, is infinitely diverse. It's as diverse as the number of people and stories there are to tell. And I can't think of a better story than the Dust Bowl story, because this is a group of so-called ordinary people, a bottom-up story of extraordinary heroism, of a great tension between Mother Nature and human nature. Mother Nature more than often wins. It just has every single element. And when you add the superlatives that we are wont to add, this is the greatest man-made ecological disaster in American history superimposed over the worst economic cataclysm in human history, then you've got a good story going.
His concept was brought to life by many others sharing the belief in telling a nation's story.
About character lives, Hollywood versus this documentary field. I mean, these aren't people that are just playing a role. This was their actual reality. So how do you find those characters to embody what you want to invoke?
The laws of storytelling are the same, whether it's a feature film or it's a documentary. What's so good about documentaries is that it's real. I mean, the most obvious aspect of it is that it's real. These lives really happen. So our job is to listen, to investigate, to look, to discover these lives. But then our job is to figure out how to distill the essence of their stories into something that fits the laws of good storytelling. But we're not a screenwriter superimposing what happened. When this family, which had hoped to have a section of land that they could farm and hand on to their sons, ends up living in a chicken coop because it's the only thing they could afford to live in, that is an amazing story that no screenwriter in Hollywood could make up.
He hopes the documentary will power through the airwaves and carry a message of legacy and significance.
The legacy is not in anything that I've done as much as the reactions that people have, or don't have, as the case may be, to these films, to these stories, to these subjects. So in the end, you can pull the film away, you can pull me away, you can even pull the extraordinary people who work on these films away. And what you're left is with whatever you bring to that moment, what your responses are, and what you do with that.
For Roots TV, I'm Bonnie Campo.